Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving deep into something that touches every single one of us, relationships. Not just any relationships, but the kind of connection that transforms your soul, fuels your purpose, and aligns with God's divine plan for your life. You see, relationships aren't random. They aren't just a product of chance or circumstance. Every relationship, whether it's with your partner, your family, your friends, or even with yourself, carries the seeds of purpose and growth. But here's the deal. You've got to step into that purpose. You've got to see the bigger picture. So let me ask you, are you living God's plan for your relationships, or are you settling for less than what you were designed for? Here's the first truth we need to own. God's plan for your relationship starts with you. You can't give love if your own cup is empty. You can't lift someone higher if you're stuck in the mud of insecurity, doubt, or fear. God created you with a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. So if you're waiting for someone else to complete you, it's time to pause. You are already whole. God's plan doesn't start when someone enters your life. It starts when you recognize your own worth. Now here's the second truth. Relationships are God's greatest tools for transformation. Have you ever noticed how the people closest to you often reveal your deepest triggers? That's not by accident. Relationships are like mirrors. They reflect back what's inside of us. And sometimes it's not pretty, but here's the beauty. God uses those moments to refine you, to teach you patience, forgiveness, and grace. Think about this. Iron sharpens iron. You weren't meant to walk through life with someone who just makes you comfortable. You were designed to partner with someone who challenges you, inspires you, and brings out the best version of yourself. But that's not all. God's plan for your relationship is bigger than you. This isn't just about happiness. It's about purpose. When two people come together in alignment with God's will, they create something extraordinary. It's not just love, it's a legacy. It's the kind of partnership that builds families, serves communities, and transforms lives. But here's the catch. You've got to trust the process. God's timing is perfect. Sometimes we rush ahead. We settle for relationships out of fear or convenience. But settling for less than God's best is like planting seeds in shallow soil. They won't grow to their full potential. So how do we align with God's plan? Pray for clarity. Ask God to reveal His will for your relationships. Seek His wisdom and trust that He'll guide your steps. Focus on growth. Be the kind of person you want to attract. If you want kindness, show kindness. If you want faith, live with faith. Set standards, not walls. God's plan doesn't involve building barriers out of fear. It's about setting boundaries that protect your values and your heart. Let go of control. You can't force someone to be who you want them to be. Your job is to show up as the best version of yourself and let God handle the rest. But as I close, I want you to picture something. Imagine a relationship where love isn't just an emotion, it's a choice, a commitment, a reflection of God's grace. Imagine being with someone who sees you, challenges you, and partners with you to create a life that glorifies Him. That's what's possible when you align with God's plan. So step into your worth, embrace the process, trust the timing. And remember this, God's plan for your relationship isn't just about who you're with, it's about who you become along the way. God's plan for your relationship starts with you. Before you can step into a healthy, thriving relationship, you must first become the person God designed you to be. Too often, people believe that finding the right person will complete them, that love from another will fill the voids they feel inside. But the truth is, no one can complete you because you were never meant to be incomplete in the first place. God created you whole. The idea that another person will heal your wounds or validate your worth is a dangerous mindset that leads to dependency rather than partnership. Many relationships struggle not because two people aren't meant for each other, but because they enter into them with unresolved pain, insecurities, and fears. When you carry past wounds into a relationship without addressing them, they manifest in destructive ways through jealousy, control, fear of abandonment, or an inability to trust. God's plan is for you to step into your relationships as someone who is already strong in your identity, secure in your worth, and clear on your purpose. If you seek validation from another person, you will always be at the mercy of their approval. If they love you today, you'll feel valued. If they are distant tomorrow, you'll feel worthless. That is not the way God intended for you to live. Your identity is not found in whether someone chooses you or not. It is not found in whether someone texts you back, commits to you, or stays by your side. Your worth was already established before you were born. God knew you, formed you, and designed you with purpose. If you do not first root yourself in that truth, you will always look to relationships to give you something they were never meant to provide. A relationship is meant to complement you, not complete you. When you take time to grow, heal, and align yourself with God's vision for your life, you naturally attract relationships that reflect your inner state. If you are broken, you will attract relationships that mirror that brokenness. If you are whole, you will attract relationships that reflect that wholeness. That is why personal growth is not just important, it is necessary. The healthier you are, the healthier your relationships will be. If you want to be loved fully, you must first love yourself the way God loves you. That means treating yourself with kindness, setting boundaries, and refusing to settle for less than what aligns with your purpose. Many people enter relationships hoping that love will fix their deepest struggles, but love is not a band-aid for brokenness. True love requires two individuals who have done the work within themselves so they can give freely rather than take out of need. When you are whole, you do not enter a relationship seeking someone to fill an emotional void. You enter to share the love and strength you already have. God wants you to know yourself before you join your life with someone else. If you don't know who you are, how can you expect to create a healthy partnership? If you don't understand your values, how will you recognize someone who aligns with them? If you don't know your purpose, how will you build a life with someone who supports it? These are the foundational questions that must be answered before you commit to another person. Many people are afraid of being alone, so they rush into relationships prematurely. They ignore red flags, compromise their values, and settle for less than they deserve just to avoid loneliness. But being alone is not a punishment, it is preparation. Your single season is a gift. It is the time when you get to discover who you are, grow in your faith, pursue your dreams, and build a strong relationship with God. The better you use your time alone, the better you will be when you step into a relationship. Spending time alone allows you to understand what truly fulfills you. It forces you to face the parts of yourself that need healing rather than distracting yourself with relationships. It teaches you to find joy in your own presence rather than relying on someone else to bring you happiness. When you learn to love your own company, you become more selective about who you allow into your life. You no longer settle for relationships that drain you or pull you away from your purpose. You seek relationships that uplift, empower, and align with God's plan. Your spiritual growth is a crucial part of preparing for a relationship. A strong relationship with God gives you clarity, wisdom, and discernment. It helps you recognize what is truly meant for you and what is not. Many people jump into relationships led by emotions rather than wisdom. They mistake chemistry for compatibility, passion for purpose, and attraction for alignment. But when you allow God to lead you, you see beyond the surface. You no longer choose based on temporary emotions. You choose based on long-term purpose. Building a strong foundation in your faith will prepare you for a relationship that honors God. If you are not spiritually strong, it becomes easy to be led by emotions, external validation, or societal pressure. But when you are grounded in God's truth, you do not make choices out of fear or desperation. You make choices out of wisdom and peace. Healing is another critical part of preparation. Unhealed wounds from the past will always resurface in your relationships. If you have trust issues, they will show up. If you have fear of abandonment, it will show up. If you have unresolved pain, it will show up. Healing is not just about letting go of the past. It is about transforming how you see yourself and how you show up in relationships. Forgiveness is a key part of healing. Many people carry resentment from past relationships, holding on to the pain of betrayal, rejection, or heartbreak. But holding on to pain only poisons your future. Forgiveness is not about excusing what happened. It is about freeing yourself from the weight of it. When you forgive, you release the past and make space for the future God has for you. Self-love is another vital component. Loving yourself does not mean arrogance or selfishness. It means seeing yourself the way God sees you. It means knowing your worth and refusing to tolerate anything less than respect, kindness, and love. When you love yourself, you do not accept relationships that drain you, disrespect you, or take you further from your purpose. Your habits, mindset, and lifestyle all play a role in the relationships you attract. If you want a relationship that is built on faith, growth, and purpose, you must embody those values yourself. You cannot expect a partner to bring into your life what you are not willing to cultivate within yourself. Preparation is not just about waiting for the right person. If you want a strong, loving, faith-centered relationship, you must first develop those qualities within yourself. God's plan for your relationship is not just about who you are with, it is about who you become. When you focus on your own growth, healing, and purpose, you naturally align with relationships that reflect that same energy. God will never send you someone to complete you because he already made you complete. He will send you someone to complement you, challenge you, and grow with you. That is why your preparation matters. Your future relationship is a reflection of the work you do today. Every choice you make, every habit you build, every healing step you take is shaping the relationship you will one day have. When you take responsibility for your growth, you step into relationships from a place of strength rather than need. You attract a partner who values you, respects you, and walks with you in purpose. You create a love that is not built on dependency, but on mutual growth and faith. That is the foundation of a relationship aligned with God's plan. Relationships are one of the most powerful tools God uses to shape us, refine us, and transform us into who we are meant to be. They are not just about companionship, romance, or even love alone. They are divine assignments designed to bring out the best in us, challenge us to grow, and help us reflect God's love in the way we interact with others. Every relationship you experience, whether it's romantic, friendship, family, or even business, is meant to teach you something about yourself, about life, and about God's plan for you. People often assume that relationships exist solely for happiness, but that is a limited view. Happiness is a byproduct of a meaningful relationship, not its primary purpose. Relationships push you beyond your comfort zone, expose your weaknesses, and force you to confront things you might otherwise avoid. They are mirrors that reveal what is inside of you. If you have unresolved pain, it will show up in your relationships. If you struggle with trust, it will become evident in how you interact with those closest to you. If you have insecurities, they will surface in how you communicate, how you react, and how you interpret the actions of others. Relationships bring out what is hidden, not to break you, but to heal you. God uses relationships to refine us just as fire refines gold. When two people come together, whether in a friendship or a romantic relationship, they bring their individual experiences, beliefs, and emotions into that connection. If you are unwilling to grow, you will struggle with conflict, misunderstandings, and resentment. But if you see relationships as an opportunity for personal and spiritual development, you will approach them with humility, patience, and a willingness to evolve. Growth in relationships requires vulnerability. You must be willing to see yourself honestly, acknowledge your shortcomings, and take responsibility for how you show up in your connections. Many people expect relationships to be effortless, believing that the right connection will never require work. This mindset sets people up for disappointment because every meaningful relationship will require effort, understanding, and sacrifice. Love is not just an emotion, it is a decision to show up fully, even when it is difficult. It is the willingness to listen, to compromise, and to extend grace. God does not place people in our lives just for comfort. He places them in our lives to teach us, to stretch us, and to make us more like Him. One of the most significant ways relationships transform us is through the challenges they bring. When you are in close connection with another person, their differences will test you. Their habits may irritate you. Their perspectives may challenge your own. Their flaws may expose areas of impatience, pride, or control within you. These moments of friction are opportunities for growth, but only if you choose to learn from them instead of running from them. When people encounter difficulty in relationships, their instinct is often to withdraw, shut down, or give up. But growth does not happen in isolation. It happens in engagement. If every time you are challenged, you avoid the situation, you miss the lesson. If every time someone offends you, you cut them off, you deny yourself the chance to develop deeper emotional intelligence and resilience. If every time conflict arises, you run, you never learn the skills necessary to build a lasting and meaningful connection. God's plan for relationships is not about perfection, but about progress. The goal is not to find people who never make mistakes, but to become someone who can navigate challenges with wisdom and grace. The more you grow, the better you will handle misunderstandings. The more patience you develop, the more peace you will experience in your relationships. The more empathy you cultivate, the deeper your connections will become. Relationships are a training ground for developing the character traits that make you a better partner, friend, and human being. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways relationships transform us. Holding onto grudges poisons your spirit and prevents you from experiencing true connection. When someone wrongs you, you have a choice to hold on to resentment or to release it. Forgiveness does not mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean choosing peace over bitterness. It is a conscious decision to free yourself from the weight of anger and allow God to work in the situation. Trust is another crucial element that relationships develop in us. Learning to trust others requires faith, but even more than that, it requires trusting God. When you have been hurt in the past, it is tempting to put up walls to protect yourself from future pain, but walls do not just keep pain out, they also keep love out. You cannot fully experience the depth of a relationship if you are always guarding yourself. True connection requires openness, and openness requires trust. Communication is a skill that relationships force you to refine. The way you express yourself, the way you listen, and the way you respond in difficult conversations all reveal your level of maturity. Many conflicts arise not because of the issue itself, but because of how it is communicated. Learning to express your feelings without blame, to listen without defensiveness, and to respond with understanding rather than reaction is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. God uses relationships to teach us about selflessness. Love is not just about what you can receive, but about what you can give. Many people enter relationships with a transactional mindset, asking, what can I get out of this? But the healthiest relationships are those where both individuals are focused on serving each other. When you shift your focus from self-centered desires to a heart of service, your relationships become more fulfilling. Relationships also reveal our need for grace. No one is perfect, and expecting perfection from yourself or others only leads to frustration. Extending grace means recognizing that everyone is on a journey, and just as you need understanding, so do the people around you. Grace allows you to see beyond someone's mistakes and recognize their humanity. It enables you to love people through their flaws rather than in spite of them. God places people in our lives not only to bless us, but also to test us. Some relationships are meant to teach us patience. Some are meant to teach us resilience. Some are meant to show us what we need to heal within ourselves. Every connection has a purpose, even the painful ones. The people who challenge you the most often have the most to teach you. Instead of resenting the difficult moments, ask yourself what God is trying to show you through them. One of the most important aspects of transformation in relationships is learning discernment. Not every relationship is meant to last forever, and not every connection is meant to be deep. Wisdom is knowing which relationships to invest in and which to release. Some people are seasonal, meant to be in your life for a short time to teach you a lesson or help you grow in a particular area. Others are meant to walk with you long term, building something lasting and meaningful. Knowing the difference requires prayer, reflection, and spiritual awareness. Relationships require commitment to continuous improvement. You never reach a point where you have arrived. There is always room to grow, to become more patient, to communicate more effectively, to love more fully. The best relationships are those where both individuals are committed to growth, both individually and together. Stagnation leads to disconnection. When you stop growing, your relationships stop thriving. God's ultimate goal for relationships is not just to bring joy, but to develop the qualities within you that make you a stronger, wiser, and more loving person. Every relationship is an opportunity for refinement. Every interaction shapes your character. Every challenge builds your resilience. Relationships are not about finding someone who makes life easier. They are about becoming someone who can navigate life's complexities with faith, love, and wisdom. God's plan for your relationship is bigger than just happiness. Many people enter relationships with the belief that the ultimate goal is to be happy, to feel good, to experience love in its most joyful form. But if happiness is the only goal, the foundation of that relationship will always be unstable because emotions are fleeting. Happiness comes and goes, circumstances change, challenges arise, and people evolve. If your relationship is only based on how happy you feel in a given moment, it will not withstand the tests of time, hardship, and growth. God designed relationships with a deeper purpose, one that goes beyond momentary pleasure and into the realm of transformation, impact, and legacy. A relationship that is aligned with God's plan is not just about what makes you feel good, but about what makes you better. It is about stepping into a partnership that refines you, stretches you, and pushes you to become the person you were created to be. Many people chase relationships based on feelings alone. They seek chemistry, passion, and excitement, but they fail to look beyond those initial emotions to see whether the connection is actually serving their greater purpose. God's plan for your relationship is not just to satisfy an emotional craving, but to align you with someone who supports your calling, strengthens your faith, and helps you grow into the person you are meant to become. When God places someone in your life, it is not just for enjoyment, but for fulfillment of purpose. A healthy relationship is meant to challenge you in the best way, to call you higher, to hold you accountable, and to help you build something that matters. It is not just about what you gain from the relationship, but also about what you contribute. It is about two people coming together to create something that has a lasting impact, whether in their family, their community, or even the world. God's plan for relationships is rooted in growth. The right relationship will not just bring temporary joy, but will encourage personal and spiritual development. Many people view relationships as an escape, a way to avoid loneliness, a means to feel loved. But in reality, a relationship is a place where your true self is revealed. The way you handle conflict, the way you communicate, the way you show up when things are hard, all of these are tested within relationships. If a relationship is only about seeking happiness, then every difficulty will feel like a reason to leave. But if a relationship is about growth, then every difficulty becomes an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to deepen the bond. God uses relationships to teach patience, humility, forgiveness, and resilience. When two people come together, they bring their own unique perspectives, experiences, and personalities. Differences will arise and misunderstandings will happen. Without a deeper purpose, those moments can lead to division, but when the relationship is built on something greater than just happiness, those challenges become stepping stones to deeper understanding and connection. Love is not just a feeling, but a commitment to something greater than yourself. Feelings fluctuate, but commitment sustains. When God brings two people together, it is not just for their benefit, but for a bigger purpose. A relationship aligned with God's plan is one that seeks to build, to uplift, and to serve beyond itself. It is not just about what two people can give to each other, but about what they can create together that impacts those around them. Many relationships fail because they are built on personal desires rather than divine purpose. When people seek relationships purely for comfort, attraction, or validation, they often find themselves unfulfilled in the long run, but when a relationship is built on a foundation of purpose, it can weather the storms of life. Purpose gives direction, it provides clarity, and it ensures that even in difficult seasons, there is a reason to keep moving forward together. God does not design relationships for selfishness. A relationship that is only about personal gain, about what one person can receive rather than what they can contribute, will always struggle. True love requires selflessness, the ability to put the needs of the relationship above personal preferences at times, the willingness to serve, to listen, and to grow together. When two people come into a relationship with a mindset of how they can support and build each other rather than just what they can take, that relationship becomes a force of strength rather than a source of constant conflict. God's plan is always bigger than temporary pleasure. Many people enter relationships thinking they have found the perfect person, only to be disappointed when challenges arise. They mistake infatuation for love, comfort for compatibility, and convenience for commitment. A relationship built only on how good it feels in the beginning will not last through the trials that come. Real love is not about never facing difficulties, but about choosing to work through them together because there is a deeper reason for the connection. When a relationship is aligned with God's plan, it becomes a place of spiritual growth. It is not just about emotional connection, but also about strengthening faith. The right relationship should bring you closer to God, not further away. It should encourage prayer, inspire purpose, and reinforce values. A relationship built on God's foundation has direction, it has peace, and it has resilience, even in difficult times. Legacy is another critical part of God's plan for relationships. A relationship is not just about the present moment, but about the future that is being built. Every choice made within a relationship impacts what is passed down, whether it is in the form of wisdom, values, faith, or the example set for future generations. A relationship that is focused only on happiness in the present often overlooks the importance of the long-term impact. But when two people align with God's plan, they think beyond themselves. They consider how their relationship contributes to the bigger picture, how it influences others, how it leaves a lasting mark on the world around them. God's plan is not about avoiding hardship, but about using relationships to build strength, resilience, and deeper faith. Every challenge faced together strengthens the bond. Every lesson learned creates wisdom. Every difficulty overcome builds a testimony. A relationship that is truly aligned with God's purpose is one that stands the test of time because it is built on more than just emotions. It is built on faith, on commitment, on shared values, and on a vision that goes beyond temporary desires. When people seek relationships with only happiness in mind, they often become disappointed when reality does not match their expectations. But when they seek relationships with the understanding that God's plan is about purpose, about growth, and about impact, they approach love with a different mindset. They do not see challenges as reasons to give up, but as opportunities to strengthen their bond. They do not look for perfection, but for alignment. They do not base their commitment on how they feel in a moment, but on the deeper calling that brought them together. God's plan for relationships is not just about what two people can experience, but about what they can create together. It is about forming a partnership that uplifts, inspires, and serves a greater purpose. When two people understand that their relationship is not just for their own pleasure, but for something bigger, they approach love with more intentionality, more patience, and more wisdom. They recognize that love is not about avoiding challenges, but about facing them with faith. They understand that true connection is not just about how they feel in a moment, but about what they are building for the future. A relationship that follows God's plan is one that does not just seek happiness, but seeks fulfillment, meaning, and a greater purpose. It is a relationship that grows, that evolves, and that serves not only the two people involved, but also the greater mission that God has for their lives. When love is built on this foundation, it becomes unshakable. It withstands trials. It overcomes obstacles. And it leaves a lasting impact that goes beyond the two individuals. It becomes a love that is not just about the present, but about eternity. God's plan for your relationship is built on trust. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, and without it, even the deepest love will struggle to thrive. Many people think of trust as simply the absence of betrayal, but it is so much more than that. Trust is not just about faithfulness in a relationship. It is about reliability, consistency, and the confidence that both individuals are committed to something greater than themselves. Trust is built over time through actions, through words, and through a shared understanding that the relationship is rooted in something unshakable. When God is at the center of a relationship, trust takes on an even deeper meaning. It is no longer just about trusting your partner, but about trusting God with your relationship. Many people try to control every aspect of their relationship, wanting to dictate how things should go, how their partner should act, and how the relationship should progress. But trust in God means surrendering that control and believing that He has a greater plan. It means allowing the relationship to develop in His timing rather than forcing it according to personal desires. Trust in a relationship also requires honesty. Without honesty, trust cannot exist. Many people struggle with being fully open because they fear rejection, judgment, or conflict. But true trust is built when both people feel safe enough to be vulnerable. This kind of honesty is not just about avoiding lies. It is about transparency, about being willing to communicate openly, about sharing fears, dreams, struggles, and hopes without fear of being dismissed. And when a relationship is built on honesty, it creates a foundation where both individuals can grow together rather than hide from one another. God's plan for trust in a relationship also involves integrity. Integrity means being the same person in private as you are in public. It means showing up in the relationship with the same level of commitment and authenticity, whether people are watching or not. A relationship that lacks integrity will always struggle because trust cannot exist where there is inconsistency. When God calls two people together, He calls them to live in truth, to walk in honesty, and to build something that is unshakable because it is rooted in moral and spiritual alignment. Trust is also built through actions, not just words. Many people say they can be trusted, but trust is not something that is spoken. It is something that is proven. It is shown in how reliable someone is, in how they handle conflict, in how they respond under pressure. Trust is strengthened when both people consistently show up, when they follow through on their promises, when they make sacrifices for the good of the relationship, and when they prioritize each other's well-being. Trust is not a one-time decision, but a daily commitment to act in a way that reinforces security and faith in the relationship. One of the biggest challenges to trust in a relationship is fear. Fear of being hurt, fear of being abandoned, fear of being vulnerable. Many people struggle with trust not because their partner is untrustworthy, but because they have past wounds that have not yet healed. They carry baggage from previous relationships, from childhood experiences, from moments of betrayal that have left scars. But when a relationship is built on God's plan, there is an opportunity for healing. God does not want people to walk in fear. He wants them to walk in faith. He wants trust to be restored, for walls to come down, for love to be given freely without hesitation. Trust is also about forgiveness. In any relationship, mistakes will be made. Words will be spoken that cause pain. Actions will be taken that lead to disappointment, and misunderstandings will happen. But trust does not mean perfection. It means knowing that when mistakes occur, there is a willingness to work through them. Forgiveness is a vital part of trust because without it, resentment builds and relationships become strained. God's plan is for relationships to be a place of grace, where both individuals recognize their imperfections and choose to extend love even in moments of failure. Another crucial aspect of trust is security. When a relationship is built on trust, there is no need for constant fear or anxiety about what the other person is doing. Many relationships struggle because one or both people feel the need to constantly check in, to question motives, to look for signs of betrayal. But when trust is truly established, there is peace. There is an understanding that both individuals are committed to the relationship, that they respect each other, and that they honor the commitment they have made. A relationship aligned with God's plan is one where both individuals feel safe, where they do not have to walk on eggshells, where they know they can rely on each other no matter what. Trust also requires communication. Without clear and open communication, trust will always struggle. Many people assume that trust is just about actions. But words play a powerful role as well. The way people speak to each other, the way they express their needs, the way they handle difficult conversations. All of this impacts trust. A relationship that follows God's plan is one where both individuals communicate with love, with honesty, and with the intention of building each other up rather than tearing each other down. One of the greatest tests of trust in a relationship is how both people handle challenges. When everything is going well, trust is easy. But when difficulties arise, whether it is financial struggles, health issues, disagreements, or outside pressures, trust is tested. A relationship that is truly built on God's plan will see challenges as an opportunity to strengthen trust rather than weaken it. It will be a relationship where both individuals lean on each other rather than turn against each other, where they support one another rather than blame one another. Trust in a relationship is also about believing in each other's growth. People are not perfect, and they are constantly evolving. A relationship that is aligned with God's plan is one where both individuals trust that they are growing together, that they are becoming better versions of themselves, that they are learning from their mistakes rather than repeating them. When there is trust in growth, there is patience, there is encouragement, and there's an understanding that love is about supporting each other's journey rather than demanding perfection. God's plan for relationships also includes trust in His timing. Many people struggle with impatience, wanting their relationship to move at a certain pace, wanting commitments to happen on their schedule rather than God's. But trust means believing that God's timing is perfect, that He knows what is best, that He is guiding the relationship in the right direction. Trusting God means not rushing decisions, not forcing outcomes, but allowing the relationship to develop in a way that is healthy and sustainable. Trust also means respecting boundaries. In a healthy relationship, both individuals must trust each other enough to set and honor boundaries. This includes emotional boundaries, physical boundaries, and spiritual boundaries. A relationship that follows God's plan is one where both people respect each other's limits, where they do not push beyond what is healthy, where they understand that trust is not just about faithfulness, but about respecting the well-being of the person they are with. Trust is also about alignment. Many relationships struggle because two people are moving in different directions with different values, different priorities, and different visions for the future. When God is at the center, trust is built on shared purpose, on mutual goals, on a clear understanding that both individuals are working toward the same future. A relationship aligned with God's plan is one where both people trust that they are moving in the same direction, that they are building something meaningful together, that they are not just in the relationship for personal fulfillment, but for a greater purpose. Trust is not built overnight, and it is not maintained without effort. It requires consistency, patience, and a commitment to doing the work necessary to strengthen it. A relationship aligned with God's plan is one where both individuals are dedicated to building trust every day, through their words, their actions, their faith, and their love. When trust is strong, the relationship becomes a place of peace, of security, of growth. It becomes a relationship that can withstand any storm, that can overcome any challenge, that can thrive not just in the good times, but in every season of life. God's plan for your relationship is centered on unconditional love. Love in its truest form is not based on emotions alone, but on commitment, sacrifice, and an unshakable foundation that stands strong through every trial. Many people enter relationships expecting love to always feel exciting, passionate, and effortless, but real love, the kind that God designed, goes far beyond fleeting emotions. It is a love that remains steady even in the midst of challenges. A love that chooses to stay even when feelings fluctuate. A love that mirrors the divine example of selflessness, grace, and forgiveness. Unconditional love is not transactional. It does not say, I will love you as long as you meet my expectations. It is not given in exchange for good behavior, constant affection, or perfect harmony. God's love for humanity is not based on perfection, it is based on grace. And in relationships, the same principle applies. A love that is aligned with God's plan does not keep score, does not withhold affection when mistakes are made, does not threaten to walk away when difficulties arise. It is a love that endures, that forgives, that works through challenges rather than running from them. Many relationships fail because love is conditional. People love each other based on convenience, based on how they are treated in the moment, based on what they receive in return. But this kind of love is fragile because circumstances change, emotions shift, and difficulties arise. When love is conditional, it creates insecurity in a relationship. It makes people afraid to be vulnerable, hesitant to express their true feelings, and reluctant to fully invest because they fear that love will be taken away if they are not always at their best. But God's plan is for love to be a safe place, a foundation of security where both people know that they are loved not just for what they do, but for who they are. Unconditional love requires sacrifice. It means putting the needs of the relationship above personal pride, choosing patience when frustration arises, offering grace when mistakes are made. Love is not always about grand romantic gestures. Sometimes it is about the small daily choices to show up, to listen, to support, to extend kindness, even when it is not convenient. It is about serving each other not out of obligation, but out of a genuine desire to uplift and encourage. True love is not self-seeking, it is self-giving. God's plan for love is that it reflects his own nature. He loves without condition, without limitation. He does not withhold love when people fail, does not abandon them when they make mistakes, does not love them less when they struggle. His love is constant, unwavering, and transformative. When relationships are built on this kind of love, they become a place of growth and healing rather than judgment and criticism. They become a partnership where both people can thrive rather than a battlefield where they constantly have to prove their worth. Unconditional love is not blind acceptance of harmful behavior. It does not mean tolerating disrespect, dishonesty, or toxicity. Love and boundaries go hand in hand. God's love is filled with grace, but is also filled with truth. In relationships, love should encourage growth, not enable dysfunction. It should inspire both people to become better, not excuse patterns of behavior that cause harm. A love that follows God's plan is one that corrects with kindness, holds each other accountable with compassion, and prioritizes mutual respect and well-being. Unconditional love is tested in difficult moments. It is easy to love when everything is going well, when there are no conflicts, when both people are in alignment. But real love is proven in adversity. How a relationship handles disappointment, how it navigates conflict, how it responds to challenges. This is where unconditional love is either strengthened or broken. A relationship built on true love does not crumble under pressure, it grows stronger. It does not turn against each other in moments of struggle, it fights for each other. It does not seek the easy way out when things get tough. It chooses to persevere. God's plan for love includes grace and forgiveness. No one is perfect, and in any relationship, mistakes will happen. Words will be spoken in frustration, misunderstandings will occur, and differences will surface. But love that is rooted in God's plan does not hold on to past mistakes, does not bring up old wounds as weapons in arguments, does not let resentment build up over time. Instead, it chooses to forgive, to release bitterness, to focus on healing rather than blame. Forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing. It is about refusing to let pain control the relationship. Unconditional love is also about commitment. In today's world, many people see relationships as temporary, as something to hold on to only as long as it is easy or exciting. But God's design for love is not disposable. It is meant to be enduring, to withstand the storms of life, to remain strong even when circumstances are difficult. Commitment means showing up even when it is inconvenient, choosing to work through problems rather than avoiding them, prioritizing the relationship even when distractions arise. It means honoring promises, staying faithful, and building something that lasts. Love is not about perfection, it is about perseverance. No relationship will ever be flawless, but when love is unconditional, imperfections do not lead to separation, they lead to deeper connection. Love does not demand perfection from the other person. It recognizes that both individuals are on a journey of growth. It sees flaws not as reasons to leave, but as opportunities to support each other in becoming better. It is patient, it is kind, it does not seek to control. It does not operate from a place of fear, but from a place of faith and trust. God's plan for love is about unity. It is about two people coming together, not just for their own happiness, but for a greater purpose. It is about building something that has an impact beyond themselves, whether in their family, their community, or in the way they influence others. Love is not meant to be isolated. It is meant to overflow, to inspire, to uplift those around it. When two people truly love each other in the way God intended, their relationship becomes an example of what is possible when love is built on the right foundation. Unconditional love requires faith. It means trusting that love is not just a feeling, but a decision. It means believing that even when challenges come, love is worth fighting for. It means surrendering fears, insecurities, and doubts to God and allowing Him to guide the relationship. Love that is based on human strength alone will always have limitations, but love that is rooted in faith has the power to overcome anything. God's plan for love is transformative. It changes the way people see themselves, the way they treat each other, the way they approach relationships. It is not about what can be gained from the relationship, but about what can be given. It is not about demanding love, but about being love. It is about choosing kindness even when it is not deserved, choosing patience even when it is tested, choosing commitment even when it is not easy. Unconditional love is the foundation of a relationship that lasts. It is the key to weathering every storm, to overcoming every obstacle, to growing together rather than apart. When love is built on God's plan, it becomes unshakable. It does not waver in the face of difficulty, does not diminish over time, does not break under pressure. It stands firm. It thrives. It deepens. It endures. Love that is rooted in faith, in grace, in commitment, in selflessness. This is the love that transforms lives, the love that builds unbreakable bonds, the love that reflects the heart of God.